Right, welcome back. It's been about 10 days, nearly a fortnight since I finished the Mitsubishi WRC car. It's next project time. This one is another rally car, the second one of the two rally cars kits that I bought from the fair from this time last year, the first one being the Mitsubishi. And it is the second of the 5 WRC kits that I've got in my stash because I've bought 3 this year from eBay. So here's the next project. Going over to my table, it is the Tamiya 124 Toyota Corolla WRC from the 1997 WRC season. So you got the box art, pretty much standard like the Mitsubishi, and then you got a picture of the Corolla while it was on one of the stages. It looks like tarmac. So putting that on the window ledge. Right, so I've got all my bits out, I've left them in the bags. So here's the main body shell. Not looking too bad. Then you've got your little tyre decals, ones that you cut out and peel and put them on with the water. You've got your tyres, polyprop sleeves and your mesh. The tyres are in slicks. The Mitsubishi was in gravel. Got all your clear parts and your kit supplied masks, which worked out fantastically on the Mitsubishi. Then you've got your second sprue, which is interior parts. So you've got in the inner door panels, dashboard, a few bits of the engine. You've got your fans there, you got brakes, steering wheel. You've got your exhaust pipe there, got bucket seats, footwells. Then you've got your white sprue, which is mainly chassis parts. You've got chassis there underneath. You've got spoiler, bits of the roll cage, tyres and rims, brakes and suspension, probably prop shaft assembly. And then you've got your decals, which are really nice. So I'm not going to be using any custom decals like I did on the Mitsubishi with the Marlboros. I'm just going to do it out the box. And you can either do Didier oil or you can do Carlos Sainz. I'm going to be doing Carlos Sainz. So here's the instruction guide. Pretty much like the Mitsubishi. Should be fairly easy, to be honest. And then last but not least, the decal placement guide. So with my little mini kit review done, it's time to get cracking on. I've started work on the Corolla now. So you've got the two main sprues, you've got A and B. So I've pre-sprayed those in the grey primer both sides and let those dry. I then cut A1 off the sprue, which is the main chassis part. I've cut it off there and I've sprayed that in the white, which is the Halford white primer on top of the grey primer, and it's not looking too bad. The plans call for you to paint it in TS26, which is the Tamiya gloss white spray, but I'm saving that for the main body shell. Right, so going on to step 1, you've got 3 main parts. You've got A1, which is the chassis. You've got A21, which is the rear drivetrain prop shaft assembly. And you've got A23, which is the front drivetrain assembly. So here's A21, which is the rear drivetrain assembly. You've got gloss black for the middle part, gunmetal for the prop shaft and the linkage. For the arms, you've got like silver there, gold. The linkage arm connectors, you've got matte black, and the arm themselves in the gunmetal. So that's all that done. Then you've got the A23 again with the gloss black in the middle, silver, black for those connector things, and gunmetal for the main rods. So that's that done. Going on to the chassis, it tells you you've got to paint these few bits there, as you can see by the different colours. and then you've got the main engine section, which is already built in to the chassis. So there's your colours, what it tells you to paint it in. So you've got aluminium, gloss black, and then these little orange brown things there. It tells you to mix X6, which is orange, and X57, which is buff. Now X57 buff is like a light brown, but I haven't got those colours. So what I did is I've got my 36185, which is like an orangey brown, and I've painted those there. I've also used that 36185 orangey brown for the connector for that little bit of the prop shaft there. So in that channel, you got like silver, you got gunmetal for the built-in part of the prop shaft there. You got that box there, which is aluminium. You got a bit of the channel there on there, which is the silver again. You got aluminium, and that part at the back is black. So now all that's done, for this part anyway, for step 1, I can now glue A23 and A21 onto the chassis. Right, cutting the bits off the sprue now. That one's A23, not A21, that one's A23, and what I forgot to tell you when I was painting the bits on the sprue was B1, which is the main exhaust pipe. So now these have been cut off, I can now mount them into A1. Right, welcome back. Step 1 is all complete. So what I did first is A23, that's got to be mounted into the chassis first. Now A23 mounts into a little rectangular notch on the underneath on the chassis, which is that there, that little rectangular notch block. And then on the inside of A23 there's actually a cutout hole, and you just push that down onto that with your glue. Then you connect that C linkage onto the built-in prop shaft. So there's the C-link prop shaft there. And then turning this over, you can probably just make out where it connects into the chassis there with that rectangular mounting block. Once that's done, the second piece you need to put in is the B1, which is the long exhaust pipe with the box. Now it only connects onto the chassis at the front there. There's the pin on the front part of the B1, and that connects into a hole there. And then the rear part of B1 with the box, there's a hole there, and there's a big pin on the inside of the box. So you connect it there on top of the A23, just line it up inside there with the shape of the channel, and then just underneath there, I don't know if you can make it out, because underneath there's the little mounting nuts, and then just push that into place. And like I said, that's the only way it connects, there and there. Once that's done, then you put A21 into place. Now A21 sits on top of B1. Now on there's like a raised pin, like a circular block with a pin on it, and on the inside of A1 there's a massive hole on the inside of A21. So what you do is you connect it to the C linkage to the prop shaft first, and then you pull it down, and then you get it to meet onto the mounting pin on the top of the bottom of the chassis. That was dead easy. So with that being said, step 1 is finished. Right, some more work on the Corolla. I'm going on to step 2 now, which is the front uprights, which is basically suspension and brake hubs and a suspension arm. So you've got A22 and A24, which are going to be left and right. So left is A24, and A17 for the suspension arm with the coils on, And you've got A16 for the right and A22 for the right, and then you've got the long suspension connector arm there. So that's what I've done here. So you've got A24, which is the left one. Now on the left one, it's told me to paint it in red, and on the right one, it's told me to paint it in metallic blue. So what I did is I mixed some of the 36152 blue with me gunmetal for the 22, and then for 24 I've just got some of the X7 red. It does say TS39, but it ain't that much different. So I painted those, then I've got anthracite for 36109 for the actual brake discs themselves, and then for the brakes, the brake hubs there, those are painted in the gunmetal. Then you've got A15, which is, like I said, the connecting suspension rod. So you've got gloss black for the arms in the middle, and then for these little buffer things, those are in matte black. So that's step 2 now finished. Right, I've started work on step 3, which is mounting the suspension and the brakes and the connecting arm as I painted in step 2. So you connect A15 to the back of A16 with that hook onto the mounting pin there. Then it tells you to push that through that hole there so it will connect to the left one. But what's puzzling me, it says do not glue that into there. But I had to because it's all loose. So I'll push that through the hole, as it says there, and then glued that in the bottom there, and then glued the left one in, and then pushed the hook onto the back of that peg. And all that is now complete. So all I've got to do now is the latter part of step 3 with these mounting arms. So you've got B32, which is I spray painted that in the white, because those connecting arms there are white, and then all those are black. And then you've got B17, which is black and silver. So that's those complete. So I've just got to mount those on top of there to complete step 3. Right, the second part of step 3 is now done. I've now glued in B32 and B17. Now B32, what you need to do is those pinholes there, you need to widen slightly. Once those are widened, you get that little C catch there, that mounts onto the back of there, so you push that in first. Then you line up the brake pins with those holes on the edge of B32, and that's pretty much it. So widen the holes underneath there, like I said. There's your C catch there, the glue's drying, and it's just a case of just lining those up. And then those edges go around there, you push that one into place, and then you push that one into place. To be honest, I didn't put any glue on there or there. I've just put a bit of glue around here just to stop them popping out, and that C catch there. And then B17, that was dead easy. You get your little pins and you push them into those little C-shaped brackets there. Just line them up and push them down, both at the same time, and I didn't need to glue those. So that's step 3 finished. Right, now step 3 is all finished, going on to step 4, which is the rear, well, they call it the rear upright. It's basically the rear suspension assemblies with the coils and the brake hubs. So for the left, you've got B19, the brake hub, A19, the upright, as they want to call it. And then the right is A18 for the upright and B19 for the brakes. And obviously you've got to paint them all first. Right, so here's my completed uprights. unlike the fronts, these were just basically silver and anthracite for the brakes themselves, and then the gunmetal for the brake calipers, and then pretty much rinse and repeat with the aluminium and the red and the gold for the coil, the red for the coils, and then those just glue in the back of there. Unlike the front ones, they didn't clip in, they was actually quite loose, so I've had to glue those. So with that being said, step 4 is complete.